All right, so this is Gemini AI. This is more like a recap class, but as much as possible, I'm going to go through everything we went through in the first class we had. So if you're watching this, you probably not have access to the first class. So we just do the most out of it. So the first place you want to go to if you want to start working with Gemini AI is Google ai.google.dev, and this is zoomed. Okay, so when you get here, you don't need to look at everything that's here. If you really want to just go ahead and do things with it. And this is Gemma, and let's not talk about Gemma. Let's just go with Gemini and build. So we are dealing with Gemini API and the other parts of Gemini that we might want to look at, but let's keep it simple today. First thing and the most attractive thing here is the get API key in Google AI Studio. So first of all, start building um, by ourselves, and then later on we'll work with Google AI Studio to do a couple of things. Um, and they said we can start building in less than 5 minutes, and I believe them because I've tried it before. So I'm going to click on get API key in Google Studio. If you are there already, then great. If you have done that before, fine. If you haven't done that before, you can do that now. So as you can see on my own page, I already have this my API key, and there's no need for me to create another one. So you can go ahead and create yours as fast as possible. Just click on create API key, and if you have your Gmail signed in on your browser, it's going to be an easy task for you. You don't need to do any other process. Just click on create API key. So the platform we are currently is aistudio.google.com, and you see these things here. Yes. What do you get there? You don't want to read. You don't want to read it.
Like something like a search bar.
What is it?
Search Google Cloud Project.
No, I can close it first, close. Keep closing.
Same thing. Yeah, accept.
Because I have before.
You have before.
Say you can select the
Okay, no, if you have before, then no need to create unless you want to have more than one API key. So the one I'm currently using is free of charge, and I can view my usage data. Let me just click on this. It's taking me somewhere. So you need to have your cloud set up too. You don't need, as long as you have your Google signed in. I think most of these things are already set up for you. So I'm just trying to look at some of the so I believe this is definitely going to be a graph that is showing me my usage, how I've used it in the past couple of months. So you can see, I think when I had this class was on this day, so you can see how I used it on this day, and since then I don't think I've touched it anymore. I think I've seen some other days here, right? Okay, so let's come back here, Google AI Studio. So once you click on create API key, you see it will generate for you, and you need to copy it in your clipboard. Control C. Are we all together? What are system still coming up? You're on the Google AI doc. Have you clicked on create API key? You're seeing what? Click on create API key. Get API key. Have you seen create API key now? Click on it. You have seen it. Copy the key. Have you done that? Yes. What did you see? Accept. So for those that should be doing it for the first time, you see a couple of pop-ups and you want to accept most of these things so that you just get your API key. But make sure you read them to accept. So cloud projects are subject to Google Cloud Platform Terms of Services. So these are things you might be seeing as they come up. You good to go? All right. So with that, we can come back on the Google platform. Let me just backtrack. We'll come out to API Studio and do other things later. But let's just go ahead and I think even here we can directly see it where we want to go to now. Here. So now that we have seen this, usually would I'll come back to where would play with things on this interface here. But just so that we do it the way we did it last time, we are just going to come over here and click on developer documentation. Developer documentation. I do not want to increase the size of my screen so that it doesn't look different from the way it's supposed to look. So we have seen that, right? Click on that. This should open a new tab in our browser and take us there. All right. So this is ai.google.dev/Gemini API, then docs. All right. So get started with the Gemini API. I believe everybody here knows what API is, right? I don't have to do more explanations. If you're watching this, you should know what an API stands for. An API is something that gives you access to some functionality somewhere, right? It's in an interface between a platform that you want to use that functionality for and the functionality itself. So we have Gemini API as that. All right. So we have the Gemini 1.5 Flash. This is the one we'll be working with today. There are different other models that we might need to talk about later. So I really want to just deep dive into this and start writing code with it. Okay. So just follow me as I go. So explore Gemini API capabilities, soft task fine-tuning, and we can do that on the AI Studio, call code, the function calling, and these are things we could do, right? Can build a code generator and all that. But we want to start building with Gemini API. So I'm just going to click on get started with Gemini API, and you can come over here and do the same thing, quick start. Click on quick start to get that. So we have moved from getting started and API keys. We have an API key now, right? So we are gone to quick start. Okay, for those of you that are just getting here for the first time, you would notice that it's probably selected Python. So you want to click on Node.js to select Node.js because we are JavaScript developers. We're working with JavaScript. So click on Node.js. Okay, now there are a couple of prerequisites for this to work. What are prerequisites? This is big English, but it means that there are things that you need to have, or you need to know, or just things that you can't do without for you to be able to do what you want to do. So the quick start assumes that you are familiar with building applications with Node.js, which is true, right? Backend, front end, you play with Node.js, right? If you're writing pure JavaScript, you're probably playing with it inside of the browser or inside of your IDE, which is working on Node.js, right? Does not have to be a backend server application, so you should have Node.js. So this complete quick start, make sure that your development environment meets the following requirements. Okay, to complete this quick start, so you need to have Node.js version 18 and above. Node.js version 18 and above. How would you want to check your Node version? You can just quickly run this code. So I'm just going to create a new folder that we are going to be working with today and call it class Gemini underscore Gemini. Then I'll drag it. I'm using cursor as my ID, but you can use VS Code if you want. Alright, so I'm just going to show us how to check our node version. Okay, when this loads, it's taking a while to load. Okay, I haven't slept, I haven't put the laptop in a while. Okay, so how will we do that? Just type node dash v or node dash dash version. It could be the other way around. It could have be node dash dash v or node dash version. Yeah, on the terminal, yes. How long is this guy going to load? Background has been changed. Please restart. Okay. I'm on cursor API, but this is telling me VS Code. Node dash v. If it doesn't work, you do dash dash v. Yes, no space. Version what? Version 20. That's fine. Version what is your own? LM. Okay, I think it's already open. I mean, it's open already. And all right, so node dash dash v, node dash v, version 20.11. You're good to get it. You're good to go, right? Okay, so that's fine. We are above 18. Now the other thing, or the other thing that we need to know is we need to have npm installed, right? So let's check if you have npm installed. Now let's do npm dash dash v. So I have npm installed. I'm getting the version of npm that I have, 10.2. All right. So we have all the prerequisites needed to build applications with or just to use Gemini API. Alright, so I think we all have created our own folders just the way I created my own, right? So let's go ahead and follow through on documentation. Yeah, if you want to follow along with the fresh project, fine. But me, I'm going to use the fresh project. So the first thing you want to do is install. I might do a lot of copying and pasting just because of time. But I'll share the code with you now. You are copying and pasting from here. You're copying the code here from here. You want us to write it from our head? Okay, so they said the first thing we should. It not work for you. Okay, we'll make sure you try it today before we go so that we don't have that issues. So they said the first thing we should do is to install Google Generative AI. So let's try and do what they say we should do. Let's copy this guy first and paste it here and press enter. It's showing that it has installed, but I'm not seeing anything inside of my folder. Yeah? Yeah, I know. I'm just doing what they asked us to do. Right? So I'm not seeing anything here, but it's showing me there that is installed. I don't know where it's installing. Your own is showing, Abi? Mine is not showing. Yeah. Alright, so if your own shows fine, but if your own does not show, the first thing you want to do, what did it show you on?
Google folder, then generative AI. Then inside of it says this server license.
Okay, great. Now what you want to do is delete that thing.
ASAP.
So let's clear and Usually, to start a Node.js application, we would initialize the Node.js application by doing something called npm init. And you can go ahead and hit enter, but there are a couple of questions they'll ask us. To skip those questions, put dash dash y. Then we press enter. Now, when that happens, there's something that usually pops up on folder pane, which is package.json. And we're happy with that because if you look at inside of it, you see some things already initialized for us. Right, this is using the name of the folder I'm currently using. Class Gemini is just suggesting the version I'm working with is version 1.0, and there's no description because I gave you no description. It's just assuming that the main file is index.js, but it might not be index.js. Might. But anyways, now at this point we have initialized our Node.js application. This is where we can now paste npm install at Google Generative AI to work. So I'm going to press enter now. So with this, we now have a package log.json and we have our node modules folder. Okay. Now inside this two mode folder, you can now see that thing you're saying for.
No, I had no modules before.
Inside that folder.
Inside the
Okay, when you installed it, you saw node modules. I did not talk about. Thought there were no node modules. But anyways, that's the first thing we want to do. Now, the next thing is we should set up our API key. So we already have our API key. Let me see if I can copy and paste my own. Copy. And I'll blow it out. But anyways, I'm going to set up an API key, and usually they will advise us not to keep it open for people to see. So we want to um, hide it in something like an env file, right? So to use an env file inside our Node.js application, even though Node.js now supports env files, um, what do they call it now? Normally, I want to say naturally, but the word is when Node.js supports something on its own without a third party, what do they call it? Supports it. Yeah,
I get what you mean, but then
the word is not. Okay, so we are going to do npm install dot 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 env. So I'm going to hit my enter now. Yes, it's too small, eh? Dot.env. Now at this point, I can see that I've installed .env. Now the next thing I want to do is set up my API key. So I'm going to come over here, and inside of the root folder, I'm going to create an env file. So I'm going to name the file .env. This time I'm using dot as a full stop. Now hit enter. Then I'm going to give the name of what I want to use here, API key. So I don't want to copy that because I've copied my API key. It's already the first thing in my clipboard. So I'm just going to write here API underscore key and set it equal to, paste that guy over there. Then I will save it. Then here I'm going to create an index.js file. Index.js file. This is where I'm writing the next couple of things we'll be seeing. API underscore key equals to paste it, then are you following now? Now the next place we want to follow through here is we need to import the library. So I'm going to copy this next place here. I'll copy it, I'll come to my code, I'll paste that there. Now we have imported the library inside of our code. Google Generative AI required tools. Next thing we want to do is make your first request. We want to make our first request. So we are going to use the generate content method to generate text. We want to generate text using Gemini AI. So and there's a piece of code that will allow us to do that, and it is just here. Okay, so we can just go ahead and copy that, come to our application and paste that over there. Okay, now looking at this, we already know, for some of us who understand what's happening here, that this we need to import the API key, right, so that we can use it from the env file. So how do we import it? First of all say what? Require what? dot env, and then we'll now see dot what? Called feed, and this is a function, right? What's it going to take? Does it take anything? Nothing, because our env is in the root folder and it's just at the end. Alright. Okay. So now we have imported the env file, so we can use process.env now, and it will have access to our API key from our env file, right? But also looking at this, do we think it will work? No, because I can see an await keyword here, and this needs to be wrapped. Every await keyword needs to be wrapped inside of some a sync function. So what I could just do is wrap this whole thing inside of an async function. So I'll cut it and write an async function. See, create const generate content, and I hope that's not the same name as. Okay, I need to say async here, then I'll pass the code inside of this async function. Paste. Alright, now I can see that this generate content is clashing with this generate content prompt here, so I need to change this name here to generate AI content. But I also think that it was still going to work fine, because this is coming as a object or a method inside of the model, but just to keep our names distinct, so I just had to do that. Okay, so if you save this, it's still not going to work fine until we call it, right? We need to invoke it. We need to invoke that method. Okay, so I'm going to come outside of here and invoke it. I'll say generate AI content and run it. Now, for the sake of clarity, you can run this without doing the next install I want to install, and we're going to do that first. So I'm going to clear my console, and first of all, before we even do all these things, let's read the code that we have there. So we are instantiating the generative AI method. If you're off my TV, I'll go blow you. So we are instantiating it and passing the API key inside of it. Then we are now creating a variable called model. and passing the instantiated value, this Gen AI, inside of that model. But this time around, they are calling a method inside of it called get generative model. Okay, and this get generative model, we are passing a particular um, object inside of it. So you have to pass an object inside of it, and the object has a model name, and the model name we are using today is Gemini 1.5 Flash. Gemini what? Flash. All right. So that is for the model, right? And then we have a prompt. This prompt is self-defined. So we just write a story about a magic backpack, and that's what we copied from the documentation. We can run this, and we now see that we have an opportunity to be able to modify what the prompt is by typing a new prompt there. But the next thing we have there is result, and this result is going to await the model. You can see what's inside the model now. Gen AI dot get generative AI model, generative model, and then we pass inside of that same thing. Now we can string this together, right? We have just gone. Um, okay, let's not even talk about that. Let's just keep it this way, because when we run this, this is a call. So we are calling this to generate content. So we are calling this model to generate some content using the prompt that we pass to it. Okay, and then we log out the result eventually. You can see that the result is going to have an object called response, and then that object called response is going to have a text property inside of it. We'll check all these things eventually, but let's just run it as is first. So the easiest way to run a Node application, since you have Node installed, you should just say Node and call the file name, which is index.js over there, and you press enter and wait for a while for that to happen, and then it runs the code once. So here it is telling us a story about what magic black back magic what backpack. So this is a very nice nifty story. Elara was never one for adventure. She preferred blah 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 blah. All right, so we can now modify. Yes.
So, like, I'm trying to understand this thing because I don't know where that generative model is coming from and generate content is coming from. Is it a function or what?
Yeah, it's a method inside of model. You can see that we passed gen AI dot generative model inside of model. So model is taking this whole thing we have inside of here. Okay, right?
Mm.
So we could have just gone ahead and copied this whole thing here and replaced it with model here. So you have it something like gen AI or generative model, pass the model value there, and then now see dot generate content, pass the prompt inside of it. Right? But just to break it down into smaller bits, so I can understand that you first of all need to hold the model, then you now call the generate content function. So we can modify this by making the prompt a parameter, right? And then inside of here we can now pass in whatever we want here and see what is um, what is 18. And now in order for us to keep running this application and ending it, we can install a dependency called nodemon. We can say npm I. Now I want to install it globally, so you don't have to be doing it every single time. Dash g nodemon. Okay, npm I dash g nodemon. Press enter for it to install. Alright, great. So we can clear out our terminal, and now we can run nodemon index. Nodemon index. we can hit enter. So it's going to give us the same, because you have not saved this file that now has what is the theme. So it's giving us a different story for a backpack. I don't think we'll get the same story. Ellie loved her old, so a different story this time around, right? So at this point, we can just go ahead and save this, and once we save it, it runs the code for us. What is a theme? So we can see that it's giving us this whole text. A team is a group of individuals who work together towards a common goal. Here's a breakdown. Key elements of a team, stuff like that. Now, we are not really determining what we are not determining what we are getting from the AI, right? It gives us what it wants to give to us. You understand? Node mod. MPMI. So I said nodemon. Okay, after installing it, just do nodemon. You call the index.js. Nodemon space index.js. No, I don't want to paste anything. You're welcome. Have you run it? Is it working? All right. So this is real simple, right? And we can modify these prompts as much as we want. So with this simple function, we can create an API to send to the front end to just receive prompts from the front end and feed it with the responses that it will get from the model generate content prompt function over there. Okay, so that's first. We can ask more questions if you want, but let's move over and see how we can do better things or more complex things with this. I hope that one is fine. What's next? So now that you are set up to make requests to the Gemini API, you can use the full range of Gemini API capabilities to build your apps and create workflows. So to get started with Gemini APIs, there are a couple of guides you can look at. So we have text generation, we have vision, we have audio, we have long context. So I don't think I've looked at all these documentation, but let's just go ahead and start from text generation, which I think is the most basic. Most times we need text. You're asking Gemini or you're asking an API for any AI you're working with for text, except the ones that you are saying should generate images for us, or generate audio for us, or generate some kind of, I don't know exactly what long context means, but there should be something that is specifically pointing at. So let's go ahead and look at text generation. So we are still on Node.js, and we can see that the Gemini API can create text outputs from various forms. I'm seeing types there, from various types of inputs. So Gemini API can generate text outputs. So this particular place we are talking about now is we're just generating text, and the input is now dependent on us. We can give it text also as input. We can give it images as input. We can give it video as input. We can give it audio as input. I can give it a couple of these things as input. And when I say input, you are sending it that thing to use it to do something. So you can use text generation for various applications, including creative writing, describing or interpreting media assets. And this is what we did in the last session we did. We can do text completion, right? You can also summarize free form texts. You can translate between languages. You can create chatbots, and you can own your novel use. You can create your own use case, right? So I think we are going to work with, we'll try and see if we can touch chatbots today. but we would try and go over the last one we did, which was passing images to and image recognition and all those things. So we'll start from there, and if you can go into chatbots today, great. um, so this guy shows you how to do these things: generate text using generate content like we just did, and stream generate content. Now these are two types of way you can generate content, which is usually text, from Gemini API. First one, and the one that we first of all used just now, is generate content. This generate content function or method. We can also use generate stream content on APIs. So the focus is on text output, right? From text only and text and image input. So this particular guide, this one I'm looking at now, is going to focus on text outputs from only text input and input from text combined with images also, and that's what we did in last class. Pass an image and also pass text with it. So we can also learn more about multimodal prompting with video and audio files. We can come here and do that, but let's take a chill pill. Let's relax. Let's start from here. Before you begin, set up your project API. We've done that, right? And before calling Gemini API, you need to set up your project and configure API key. We have done that, right? If you have forgotten how to do that, you can come here and expand this to go ahead and do that. Now we want to generate text from text only, which we have already done, right? We pass in text, we get text back. So we'll skip this, okay? Which is the simplest way to use the model. So in this case, the prompt, write a story about magic backpack, doesn't include any output examples, right? System instructions. We'll look at system instructions later when we are playing with the Gemini, the AI Studio, or formatting information. So it's a zero shot approach. So what they mean by zero shot approach is that it does not tell Gemini how it wants its output. Does not give it any system instructions. It does not give it any formatting instruction, right? You just give it text and expect any output you're ready for. It can give to us. So for some use cases, a one shot or few short prompts might produce outputs that's more aligned with the user expectations. So sometimes you want to get some kind of output. You can say, add this. I only want 2 lines. You give me 2 examples of. So these things are the way to determine how you get your responses. Okay, but in the one we have here, it's a zero shot approach. Okay, so some cases may also want to provide system instructions to help the model understand the task or follow specific guidelines, and we use that to create chatbots. Okay, the chatbot needs to have guidelines, right? It needs to know what to generate text from text and image. So I believe we can, let me skip this one, we'll come back to it, but I feel like they should have put generate text from a text stream. Generate a text stream here. So I want to go there and try to run this one first. So why are we trying to run this one first? Why are we trying to run this one first? So by default, the model returns a response after completing the entire generation process. So it's going to complete its own process of generating on its own end, and when it's done, it sends you feedback, right? That's what it was doing initially. So, but you can also achieve faster interactions by not waiting for the entire result, but instead use streaming to handle partial instructions. Okay, the following example shows how to implement streaming using generate stream context method. Generate to generate text from text only input prompt. So we are still going to use that same file to run this, but this time around I'll just comment out this. You remember how this one worked, right? Didn't we just came? So I'm going to create a new function here. I'll say const generate AI content, but this time around I'll say AI stream content. Then I'm going to make it an async function, because we now see that what we have inside of the documentation should be inside of what an async function, because we're going to have some await text there. So we go back to the documentation and check what and what we need to copy. So we can come back to this code here, and instead of, because we're going to be using these two lines for most of the functions to be running, we want to bring them outside to make them global, right? So I'll cut this and bring it out and make it global, so that we can work with this, and this still works fine. Let's make sure it still works fine. What is React? Okay. Save, and the results are going to come once. You can see came once, and then tells us what React is. Okay. All right. Now we can see that it's still working the way we want it to work. So let's open out this new function we have here. Okay. Now we can see that these two guys are the same thing with what we have inside of this place here. So we are not going to copy these two again, right? What we want to copy is these other guys. But you can also see that this one also has a prompt that we can make as a parameter in our function. So what we need to just do is take just this guy here, right? So take that guy, copy and paste it inside of this place, and format it nicely. So we are going to receive prompt as a parameter. So we should receive it. Now you can see here that the result is going to come as a stream, and we need to send that stream to our console. So another way to push something to the console is process sd out. That's right. So you don't need console log here. Console log here. So we can just go ahead and call this method or this function down here and pass in our prompt, which this time around is still going to the same question we asked initially. What is React? Okay, so I'm going to save this and let's see how it works. So you can see that it's coming out little by little as it sends the stream, it's pouring it out little by little, right? Did you notice it in your own? Or did you see my own first? To try your own first. Are we together?
Yes.
Now have you done it? Alright, so we have talked about streaming, right? That's simple. Abi? So now let's go to a more.
Mr. Colin, is telling me that prompt has already been declared.
That what?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Stop telling me sorry. Ah,
Sorry.
are you saying it?
Sorry.
Ah,
Macaca.
okay, so let's quickly run through text, generating text from text and image input. So like we see here, we already have these two guys inside of our file, right? So what we need is a couple more functions. Just need to take these guys. But let's see what and what we need. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and write a function and wait for these guys to come, so I'll put them inside. So I'll just go to my code here and comment this one out and create a new function. I say const generate from image and text. Generates from image and text. And like we all know, we had, okay, I forgot to add my async there. We ought to have a prompt. Who they shalom us? I ought to have a prompt there. You don't want me to use fan. So prompts, right? So I'm going to pass the first function inside of display because we can keep that function inside of this context because I don't think we used any other place apart from inside the context of generate from image and text. So let's take that first function. All right. So because we have a couple of things inside of this function, we have path and mime type that should come from somewhere. We need to pass it as parameters, also path and mime type. Okay, yeah. So next thing we want to get is already have prompt, so leave prompt out. We are going to take this one. Let's just take this whole thing first and then work on modifying it inside of our code.
Sorry, me, I'm lost. So where did you get this function from? This one.
Inside of the documentation.
Which part? Is it the
Image, generate text from text and image inputs. Look up. See my hand.
okay?
So here I'm going to paste this guy here. So I'm going to look at this to see if I'll need to do anything to change some things up. So media part, where is media part coming from? It looks like this part should be, let's say parts. Let's call it parts so that this one will be seeing it using its parts. What am I doing? Parts. So that one is parts. Mime type, let's call it mime types. So that it's when we call this function that we use it. Abi? So now we are calling this function. We want to take the part here. Now this is where I go to passwords. Parts. Now because you want to use this for different files, this one also should be the mime type, because for this file generative we are taking path and mime type. So I don't think we need this thing behind here. If we have our whole part, we are going to be fine with that there. Then here we need to take in same thing that we did for this, which is mime types. Now what is mime types? I think I taught you this while we were doing okay, I didn't teach you front end, guys. Mime types is just the file extension. There are different file extensions. It might be more than what I just said, but this is the most basic explanation.
Do you understand what I mean by file extension?
Like, okay.
Uh-uh. All right. Now, so we are going to call this function. But before this function can run, we are talking about images, right? We need to have some image that we want to upload here. And how can we do that from what we have? So let's simulate it, because normally if you are doing with a front-end application, the user is going to give you an image, but we need to get an image inside of this file structure, file system, so that we can work with that image. I'm going to go ahead and create a folder here and call it images, and I'm going to drag and drop an image inside of this place to use. So I'll put my file up and check my pictures and check camera roll, and I don't know what picture this is. If it loads, let me see if it loads. Computer syncing is paused. Okay, this is in cloud. Let me see this one. All right, so I can use this one here. So I'll drag it over here and drop it inside of this place. Okay. My system camera is sharper when people want to look for their phone. All right. You have a picture there. Now I would like to rename this picture so that it doesn't become too long. I'll rename it. I'll say example image, and you can see that the MIME type there is, or the file extension there is JPG, right? Right?
Yeah.
So now the first thing we want to pass, who plugs them?
Tipata laptop.
It's whose system is full again? Okay, then it's fine now. The system no full. They clean your face like say you won't preach. So the next thing we want to do is we want to pass the prompt, which is the first thing that we said we needed, right? So usually we are seeing the image. You can ask questions about the image. What, or just say, tell me about what you see. Tell me about this image. Okay, so that's the prompt, right? Next thing is the parts, right? So we need to get the part of this image. To get the part, you know how we do it. You know, if you are doing an SRC, you're going to find dot slash, right? So we have images, and then we now take what example.jpg. Hmm? It's just an extension I use, and the extension usually shows two different ways I could call it. There's only one that is there. I see that the same thing now. So the next thing one pass there is the MIME type, right? And the way we write MIME types, I've not crammed it ever in my life. So I just go back here and yeah, I'll take what we have here so that you to know where to take from. I just take this one, image, and because we know the exact image you're expecting, we are just going to say this time is JPG, right? But if you want to work with APIs, you need to make sure that it can accept all kinds of images, right? I think what we can put there is /.
Yeah,
Star.
/.
I put star my own. Anyways, it still takes the same thing. So I think in my mind we are good to go to receive from this. Let's check. Let's check why to crash. So we have prompt parts MIME type function, run this guy, image parts part MIME type inline buffer .js. Come out. So let's say const fs equal require FS. I didn't see F. Up to now, I never see FS. Okay, yeah. So this FS. We have FS there. Okay, let's look through again if you have any problem. I think buffer is inbuilt.
Yeah.
Look at it. Const FS is equals to require FS.
Mr. Cohen, sorry, that FS, what is it used?
You want to know now? It's called file system. It's inside of Node.js. Alright, so let's save this guy and run it. Abi? Can we? Are we together? Are we together? Now you want that one. So you're saying the image shows the group of we are down. Well, you look at it. So the image shows the group of people working on laptops in an office. The person in the foreground is smiling and looking directly at the camera. They are wearing a it's English.
No, it's trying to be. It's gay, but he doesn't know the sex yet.
Let's say bomb day here. So they are wearing a black shirt. Instead of say he's wearing and with white letters saying core.
But he didn't see the A. Yeah, he didn't see the A.
So the other people in the image are working on their laptops and not looking at the camera. The image is taken from a low angle, giving the viewer a perspective of looking up at the people in the image. So the image is blurry and has low resolution, suggesting that it was taken with a low quality camera or that it was edited in a way that reduced the quality.
Yeah.
Take your own camera and let's see what's it saying. Let's see. Make person come out to that. Yeah, I want to go again. This is the whole function.
At the gate,
I've never even seen any results from my own Instagram.
So we want to create an application that would allow people to use this both from the back, from the front end. So let me end this one. Now I'm going to create a file, call it Gemini app. Inside this place, if you know how to navigate your way through, I'm just using it for people that don't know how to navigate their way through, so you don't get confused. So let's say image recognition app. Create a new folder and say image image recognition. If it's not too low, not too long, we drag and drop. Okay, so
I'm not sure my system.
okay, we are coming on.
I can't believe it.
Oh yeah, so we want to so that we can be fast. Like I said, we are not going to write all this code from scratch. Just pay attention. I'll be dropping it in the group chats as we go on. So inside of this new application, this new folder you opened, you're going to create two folders. Call the first one your client. I call the next one your server. No, it's not inside there. Server. Okay. Now inside your server, we are going to start from there. You are going to enter our server from our. Which is the top? Let's say the conjure.
I don't get that part.
So I'm going to open two terminals. First one is going to be for my server, and second one is going to be my client. So here I'm going to cd into my server. I like it my server on the left hand side. Yes.
Server. Indian man.
And I keep my client on the right hand side. cd client. How different those days. Do you think they call API? Client. Well, they call I get you client fast now. I say you are client. You are Alright, so I'm going to do what you did in the other Node.js application. If you remember, you just go ahead and do it. First thing you want to do is npm what init dash y. To terminal, then you're going to open one server and the other one client. Then for the server side, you're going to write npm init dash y. You're going to install a couple of dependencies because you want to create a server.
From this client, first, how do CD client, right? How do CD client? Or
And if you open your terminal, you need to enter inside the folder from the terminal. CD space client, CD space server. So you can be inside your client side, the server side, and your client side on this side. Alright. Now let's install a couple of things.
Mr. Godal, right hand, for the server.
For me, yes. Alright. So you're going to install a couple of things here. So I'm going to write, pay attention. I'll do npmi. First thing you want to install is what you use to create a server, which is Express. Now, the next thing you want to install, because you're going to use it, is the generative AI. Install the Google generative AI. Here's it now. Let's come back to quick start so that we can just get it from there. Does it look like my network is slow?
hope you are not connected to me. Maybe not this podcast.
Why does your own take preference? So no, it's fine. So I'll come and copy this one here, just this one. Just what? That one. Because I want to install all these things together. Make sure you're adding space to it. Now the next thing you want to install is cause, so that because you know you are working with front end, so you need to yes. So you need to install cause to be able to work directly with the front end. So CORS, we would use that. Remember .env. Also we need, because you're going to be working with images, we need something that can help us to work with images. In Node.js we use, what do we call it? Multi. What else do we need in this app? So you have installed Express, Google Generative AI, course.env, and Malta. What else? Node is installed already globally. So I'll just hit enter. And if we need any other thing, we install it as we go on. Let's wait for that to download. Oh my god.
Where are they go?
Yo. I no charge that call. I mean, they are so like you guys
Go mad.
Okay, so we have installed those packages, and they all look good. Okay. So inside of my server, you don't need, it's still installing, Abi.
Yeah.
So inside of my server, you can start working now without waiting for it. Let's do our .env, new file, c .env. Yes, inside the server. Then, oh my god, I have to go and copy and paste it.
Why?
So I want to go and copy my details from the last one we just used. Yeah. Control A, copy, delete, paste, and I save. Then we also need an index file inside of this server, index.js. Alright. So the first things you want to get is, like I said, instead of typing this code from beginning to the end, let's do some copy and paste. So let me find that Gemini app we created last time, and then use it as, drop it here like it's hot.
I'm not picking from this one. I will just show.
No, we are creating a server this time around, so we need that code. So I'm going to copy and paste for you guys. So inside the index.js, we need, I'm doing it slowly for you guys so you understand the function. So I'll take the first part we have here and I'll explain what we are getting from there. So inside of your index.js file now, you're going to paste this thing here. So const, this is for the generative AI, right? And this is to get our env file in this, showing up in this file. And then we initialize the port name, right? You can give it any 4 digits. And then we have to instantiate or initialize express. You also need to initialize, no, I don't want terminate. Who's asking you to terminate? Cancel. Oh yes, I want to terminate that one.
But do you need to do any other thing to enter your business? Do you not just change directory server after everything? Sorry. My own is not working. See.
Somebody.
Sorry.
You said sorry.
Okay, so we have app is equal to express, and those are 6 lines of code. You have it right? Let us see. For talk now, I copy and paste, and that's what you want. So I have my Git. I'll just drop my Git link there. Can be copied from my Git. This is the same thing I have in my Git. So I'll just go and get my Git link.
Mr. Colin, express generative AI more than one thing, sorry.
Last one.
Yes. So we get this thing set up first, and then the next things. We take this ones here, copy it, and paste. Now we have to set up. We have two middlewares there. App.use express.json because we might be serving up JSON. Yeah? No. Code calling. Then we require fs, right? We also require Malta that we installed. Then okay, yeah, Gen AI with the Google Generative AI. Okay. Yes. That's the surface definition. Anything that runs through our API is going to go through that. All right. We copied and pasted.
Eh? No, Sir Colin. Me, my own is plenty.
Me, my what?
Sir Colin, see.
So this is it here. I pasted this in the group chat now. You just go
Sorry, Mr. Colin, pause. Don't see him.
Oh my god. Let me pause the video now first. And they yawn like first week. Yes. So let's pick up the next couple of things. Now we want to set up Malta. So this is how we set up Malta.
This is mainly for backend, right?
Yes, you're doing backend part first. So we use this setup Malta. We create a storage system using the Malta.git storage. We choose how we want the destination files to where we want to save it, and how we want to name it using the destination and the file name functions. So whenever we call storage, these two things happen. Destination and file name is chosen. Then we pass that storage to the Malta function as part of the parameters. Storage is equal to storage just created up there, and we have a method inside of it called single, and we pass the file, the name of the file I want to send in. So when you have this thing that we have here called file, this is how you're going to send in the name of the file from front end to the back end. Copied and pasted.
They will can make this like receive either one or not.
You want to do it now?
No, not like.
Yes, possible. Okay, so let's go and require the next things. So we have required Malta, right? So we want to put an API. I want to create an API here. So we're going to take this API function.
I will see that.
So I'll paste it here. Now, if you look inside of this API, this is to upload an image. So we have app.post, then the URL route there is upload. Okay, and we are passing a callback function inside of it that receives a request and response. Then we are going to do a try catch. You don't need to understand what I'm saying. Just copy and paste first. Now, the next thing you want to do is go over here, and we have that upload function. So should we test upload function first? Okay, we are not going to test because there's no time to test. Let's go ahead and write our Gemini function. So I added something to my code here that you not see in front in your own. So we'll add that one today too. I did not push this to Git, so let's just take this next piece of code here, which is out the post Gemini.
So you're taking everything.
No, taking from here to. I'm not taking Gemini underscore text for now. In fact, yeah, this is it. So I think we can, because of the way it's now looking in my own system, you might have to take that Gemini text so that we'll just work with it together. So what I'm doing here is that, so I'm not totally sure that if you don't pass an image to this first API that it will work. So I just created this small one that receives image only. And if you don't pass an image, you just run this small one to give you a response. So I take this one too and I paste. So let me paste this one in group chat. You don't have access to group chat. So let me just paste it so you can just watch, look here and copy. Very small.
From like
61 to 69.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
there is something in my own outdoor listing open open parentheses.
Yes, I never reached there. I need small now.
That you remove that
Just do the one I'm doing first. Did you copy everything I paste?
Everything I copied down.
Now you know the year one now, yes? I'm copying it small, you're copying everything. And now I complain.
From your GitHub.
So you took everything, but the last one you just had a Gemini.
Yes, it's not there.
It's not there.
Gemini / text is not there.
Mr. Collins, from your GitHub that I copied it from.
And everything you copy and paste. I was doing it small. So the next thing you want to now copy is.
Mr. Collins, my own computer has been
Why are you not following instruction? No, you're disturbing me.
No,
And because of him, Mr. Colin post that video yesterday.
no, because of you.
Oh, you don't know it's God.
And because of, I mentioned your name now.
Abby,
I mentioned your
throw
name.
the cards in the air. After I count 1 to 3.
I hear copy from my GitHub.
Only that one is Sabi. Copy and paste. Oh no.
So here I'm going to come over here and take this last line after. So this one here, I believe it's not in my GitHub. This one. So just take this last line here and add. It's for only text only. So that's what we have. So at this point, we can say you are done writing some of the backend code. Yes. And also run node mon index. And the app is listening to port 8000. So we can now go ahead and start writing some front-end code. Now basically what you are seeing here, let me explain a little bit for the front-end guys to understand. It's all those functions that we had, but this time around.
Sorry, thank you.
Alright, back to the client side now. Or front to the client side now. We're going to do NPM. Pay attention. Pay attention now.
NPM.
Mr.
Sorry.
You know what? You're not the only one. NPM. Create. How do you create? How do you install Git? Install.
NPM, I create bit.
Eh?
NPM install create beta.
This is looking somewhere in my eye.
Probably usually use I. Wait, is there a space in it?
Mr. Colin,
Yes?
if you do npm create react without using byte, is it bad practice?
No. But they don't it's not being maintained anymore. So your code is going you're going to run it on old code.
Now they forget things.
Maybe I did
install na the same thing.
npm I create
Yes,
Yeah,
na.
correct.
create git
At least. Problem deal. Or supported engine.
You know them.
Eh, we have done something wrong. This is not correct that we just did.
Okay, it's not. There's no I.
Look at these people.
Now allow me to shout yes, yes, yes. You shout.
You know what?
I'm
Yeah,
hearing
yeah,
your
yeah.
voice. Stop. I thought I was doing.
Don't put anything to my head.
In the fact say they shout, let me see. So the house of project name, what you likely want to do is pay attention now.
your island.
Remove I. Now if I don't pass this place where I don't talk, now you no go follow. Just look at what I'm doing. Now even if you are back behind. npm create with the latest, you get a place, you have your project name. If you want to write project name, fine, but you have problems, just put the dot there so to create inside our client. Press enter and it asks you what do you want to start building with. Vue, React, Preact, leads, Svelte. Oh, I passed React. Let me go back to React. Enter.
Stephanie, what's
Boy, Brian, if you
Preact. I believe Preact has to do with progressive web app. You see React, but it's more. You can. I'm not totally sure, but it's something that you can use to do progressive web applications. Progressive web applications that you can install, that can work offline and stuff like that. So using JavaScript. Good. Now you're going to run npm install and also let me do this. npm install. Chibaba. When it's done installing, you have all these things inside of your app, your client side. Node modus public, src, git ignore, ESLint, index HTML, package.json, readme.md, bitconfig.js. Then when it's done, you just go ahead and write npm run dev, npm run development, npm dev. You hit enter. Okay, with that, I'm just going to press Control, hold Control down, and hover on the link. Look at what I'm doing now. Pay attention. I hover a link with Control held down, and I'll press it. Mate. When I do that, it's going to open in the browser. So you can see that somebody's trying to open up my browser, and I'll just click when I see it over there. It's great. So in the app that, like I said, I added a couple of things to the app I built. So I'm just trying to add a couple. I think I did it on that interview day, first interview day. So there are a couple of new things we are going to add to this application. But first of all, let's introduce ourselves to React by going into the src folder, straight to the app.jsx file. We will remove everything inside of the return statement. Go also up, remove this one. This man really look what they do. Now remove also this ones here. I'll keep the app.css file. Then here I'm going to replace this with hello world inside of the h1 so that we can see that our app still runs. Okay. Alright. right. Um. So let's just go ahead and then we'll talk about what I wanted to talk about now. I think it's not yet mature to talk about it. So inside of the client folder in the Git, you open the src and open your app.jsx file. Now, what I have here is now going to be a little bit different from what is on GitHub. So this is what I'm going to just copy and paste. I'll drop it on our group chat so that in fact, should I just push this to GitHub?
Yeah.
Let me just push it to Git. So I've updated the Git repository. You should be able to see the updated version in a couple of minutes. Yeah, some updates, so it's there now. You can go ahead and check it out. Tega, even if na small hole I see your face, I'll go to say na you. How you now? So we now have the code up in GitHub. So inside of the app.jsx file, you want to copy everything like I said now, we just want to make sure it's working on our side, then we'll explain the things that are there. So just take everything inside of the return statement, copy it. But before we do that, pay attention. Before we do that, I'm using React Markdown. Now, why am I using React Markdown? You can see, initially you saw that when you were getting responses from Gemini, there's some punctuations that we're seeing, not this star. Look at that. No, we can't be sir.
It's your laptop.
Okay. So we want to install React Markdown. Like I was saying, the response we are getting from Gemini is not JSON. It's coming as text, and the text has a format. I believe was Markdown format, so that it could return a certain kind of way. So I'm going to copy this React Markdown. Pay attention. React-Markdown. Then you come to your file that you have here, and you either create a new terminal here, and make sure that you are still on client. Then you do npmi react-markdown. So I'm just basically using this to format the text to look nice, look good. Not like look nice or look good. It's just formatting it based on the special characters that come with it when it comes from Gemini. Okay, great. So now at this point, we can now go ahead and start copying stuff. I can't be done sacrificing.
So I think React.
Huh? React Markdown. Okay, so first things first, we are going to copy from 1 to 4. So I copy from 1 to 4 and paste in my own 1 to 4 here. Right. Also, when you are done with that, you now come down inside of this and you can copy from line 7 to line 12 and paste it underneath here. Follow. Are you following? Don't worry, explain those things as we go. Then the next thing you want to do is come here and copy all the functions you're writing inside of this place before the return statement. You want to copy all the functions we have there. So from here to underneath line 12, which is this. Copy and paste that there. Very good. Now what's left is everything inside the return statement, right? So let's go and copy that from this to copy, then everything inside return statement. Now we can see that we are seeing some kind of class names there, which means that we have some CSS attached to this. So I think I've pushed it up to GitHub. What you can just do is go to the app.css,
Copy
Control A, Control C, and come to your app.css here. Control A, remove everything you have here and paste what you now have. Save that file, come back to your app.jsx and save that file. You can see that I'm running some problems inside of my console over here, and that might be not an issue. Okay, I'm having import Axios from Axios. Oh, we have not installed Axios. We need to install Axios, right? So let's install Axios. So the npmi Axios, install Axios, because you need to make API calls. We need Axios, or you can also use fetch if you want, but using Axios for our API calls. Yeah. Next person.
Now, this now. This is not a big boss now.
Alright, so at this point we can save again and we are all good on this site. When you see your page, your console in your React client side showing like this, then everything is good. And if your console is showing like this in your client side, everything is also good. So let's go and check out what we have in our application.
If you refresh,
Alright, so I'm seeing code AI and I'm seeing that this thing is looking like this, and I don't think it's supposed to look like this the way it's looking, which means that I think I have some code inside of my index.css. So I'm going to go to the index.css here.
Yeah. Copy, Control A.
It looks empty. It looks empty. There's nothing here. Index.css. Main site. Yeah, so I need to comment out everything in my index.css. So I'll come to index.css, or just go ahead to main and comment this out, save, and let's see if there's improvement. Alright, so it's looking like the way it's looking. So so let's test what we have done here. Let me just go ahead and ask question. So I'll say what question do I ask now?
Who is Peace for killing me?
Who is a hero? Now I'm going to click on ask, and you can see that I show loading here. while the answer is coming, and we can clear, and we have
This one like things should be coming
stream. No, we did not do stream in this one. Yeah, but you can implement stream on your own. So we have the definition of a hero is surprisingly complex, multifaceted. So you can see how it's showing up. And this is, yes,
Can I see your answer?
it's the same thing that is on GitHub. Yes. You need to refresh your own. Because I just pushed something.
Yeah, please. So if you take everything, you expect some.
Yeah. Next person.
Okay, those are nice.
Okay.
All right. So this is how it looks like now. And we didn't upload an image before we could get this clear. So now let's upload image. I think I'm not done with this CSS. Something went wrong. Is your server running? So okay, showing something went wrong for the upload, eh? When you upload image, something went. But let me just go ahead and try to run this first. What is in the image?
So every time that
Mine is telling me something else.
Okay, let me clear.
to ask.
That's not it.
I'll come in, let me see. Upload. Upload is not working. My app crash. I'm supposed to be getting an error somewhere if app crashes. So let me check our app. Okay, my Node.js app has crashed. And what's happening? Why is it crashing? I think we didn't create the public folder. So we have to create a public folder. Let me confirm.
This one is saying cannot set it as.
Cannot use REST to send status instead.
So usually, cannot set it as usually comes when you did not use return statements in a list. My let's say
Who the command system now? Okay, let's go back to our index.js file and check out line 31 to see what the issue is. So line 31, rest.send 500. So I think it's happening inside of this upload, and I think when this runs here, this also comes outside. I think this is set, and this is also coming to set again. So what I could do is, since there's an error here, let's not send, because after this one sends, this one also comes to send too. So let's not send here. Let me just keep this out. So but for now, we also know that it's not working because there is no public folder inside of this client. So let's come over here inside of the server and create a folder, pay attention, called public public. Okay, why are we doing that? Because we are saying that the place that the destination of the image is going to be is where public. All right, so with that assumption that we have solved the problem, let's go and try to do what we tried to do initially. Yes, public inside server. All right, so let's upload. Load one more time. Nothing showed up. Let me find out if our app crashed again. Our app didn't crash. So our upload is supposed to show up there. So let me just refresh and see if the issue is mine. But let me check my public if it actually went to. Nothing is inside public, so that didn't run. Okay, let me do another upload sequence. Alright, uploaded successfully. Okay, and we say okay. Now we can ask question. Describe this image. It's not my fault. That's the only picture I saw. Let's ask. The image shown is a man with blonde hair and a full beard. He's wearing bright orange sweater with a blue lanyard around his neck. He's smiling and looking directly at the camera. The background is a white wall with some text on it. There's a staircase in the upper left corner
Of the image, yeah.
of the image. The image appears to be the man appears to be in a good mood. He seems to be enjoying himself.
Okay.
Alright, so can I ask follow-up questions here? Let me try. So I'm going to say, what do you mean by... Now, remember, this is not a chat.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
What do you mean by
I'm not sure.
enjoying...
You cannot even work, or you can't send now. They can send.
Enjoying... So I have to clear first.
Yeah.
So you can work your way that once the response comes, you don't have to clear, or clear is still there, but you can still ask. But what's there? But what's there now? I didn't ask anything. No. Please provide me more context. So am I sending something when there's nothing there? I think so. I'm sending something when there's nothing inside of this place. Let me click on ask. Oh, that should do happen, right? You need to be able to push past something so that we can clear that. So let's walk us through the front end part of the code. Like I said, it's just a small application that you can go home and modify to make better on your own. No? Alright, so we have imported our CSS. Okay, we have also, oh, thank you. We have imported our CSS. Thank you. And we also imported our use effects, our use states from React, because we're going to use it. I don't know, I'm saying as if we are the one that have it. But we're also going to import Axios from Axios. And the next thing we are going to import is React Markdown. And how are we using these things? So we need to use states to be able to set some states in the application. We need to initialize the image that we are uploading to null, so that by the time you're uploading it, you can now pass a value to it. So that on the rendering side, which is over here, if there's no image, then we don't show anything except there's what? An image. No, just know where I am. If there's no image, we don't show anything. That means the image is null at that point. And when we now upload an image, then we have an image that we can now show using the URL of the image we have uploaded. When we click on clear, we set everything to null back, right? So there's no longer an image until you upload an image. So the next thing is we need to get this value is, I believe, the value that we get from the input tag. Okay, from the input tag. So I cannot directly do a required there because it's not wrapped around the form. So, but I could just write that code inside of the function so that if there's an empty value, then you shouldn't run a request. You can do that very simply. You also need to set errors as a state. So when there's an error, you usually want to send that information to the user, and we are going to pass it as form of text so that you see it too on the page. Also, we need the response. Whenever we get a response from the API, we need to set it to this state so that we can show it up in the page. Also, we need a loading state. We need a what? Loading state. By the time you click on ask, so when we click on ask, then it's going to load so that the person knows that the response is coming, because it's not going to be streaming. So your assignment is going to go and implement streaming on this. Yes.
Like streaming response.
Yeah.
So when you say stream, what do you mean?
We've done it already here today.
The response should be coming just like the way
It's
should
stream.
respond from
The flow of the
Okay, yeah.
not like the thing should just appear and crack. You
Oh.
understand that we just say okay.
Wow.
All right. So the next thing is the markdown content. We need to set the markdown content, because we're going to be using the markdown to display the content. So those are the basic states that we have. Now the first function is to upload the image, and it's real simple what you see there. Normally, if you want to upload an image, you pass it into a form data object from JavaScript. So that, remember, I told you that when you're doing that, you pass the name as what? File. So the name has to be equal to the name that you pass in your upload name. Single bracket open file, whatever name there's what you put here. Then you are sending the image they are going to be uploading there. So then this is the upload place where we post. Remember, we did an upload inside of our backend. So this is where we are sending the image to that upload part. Now inside that place, we are going to get the image, all the information on the image from this place, so that we can use it when we are doing this analyze image. Okay, so in the analyze image, you are going to get the value of the message. Then it will now need to see the image that we uploaded and use it. So let's run this so that it will not look like it's a one-time platform. Let's upload somebody's image again. Now, because we not run a delete function inside of our API or inside of our backend to remove that image, let's see if Gemini can actually tell the image we are currently working with to upload successful. So we can now ask,
It's actually trying to upload again, even with this picture.
even with this one. So I think we should blur this one out because this one is already there. Right? We should not allow somebody to upload again when this one is already there. But all you should do is to replace it. I think you should just replace.
Okay.
So let me.
So,
Yeah?
sorry, upload. Like, it was when you first, it's just saying something.
Then you not solve the problem that we just solved. Now you put public inside your server.
Yes.
Only just loading, not really.
So even me, I'm not uploading an
I can
image.
upload,
I
Yes,
just
there's-
I just text and the thing is saying something like
There's something that I did that you did not do. So
Public.
no, I done public. Now inside of this place, here's my backend part now. Server. Inside of this place, line 31. We have this already, so I removed line 37. I commented it out.
so.
Yeah. But it's supposed to still be there. You know what I'll do? The best thing to do is I can comment this thing out here. I'll leave this one here so that this one can catch every other error.
Instead, this is what instead the error should just say where is the commented it. The error should just say where's the status and then the JSON.
Yeah, it should not do
So
send.
not send again. So the cache should send the error.
Who is
Let me I have it's still on me.
It's the no common sense.
If I come on since no power, see I don't remove am totally. It's not
Oh, blogger. No, me.
Let's run.
I'm not plugging.
See, my own is still not working. I've committed to.
This should be status, not even send.
Yeah, status, yes.
Why are we saying send actually?
No, that one can be sent. Yes, you can use one send actually. So that's why it's saying you cannot use two send. It's trying to send both.
Let's
It
sit down.
should
Let's
be
sit down and
status.
send. Yeah, it should
Can
be
you
status.
send, yeah.
Maybe if I send, but my own is working.
Two send.
Just so much.
Which one?
Mine is okay, just one text.
Yes, like when you just send not picture.
No, just change this first one to status.
Hey, you have not uploaded.
Yes, it works.
You've not uploaded. Have you uploaded picture? All right. So let's ask this question. You have uploaded a couple of images, right? So if you check inside of your, who can come something now? Person inside that place, are you?
But why is no one not showing the way you're?
Let's see, I want to show you something.
Me too.
Have you saved your file?
Everybody only show for site except your already. How?
Let's see.
Go to your index.
Yes, now back end.
Go to your main.
GSS. What's in comments?
Come here, main.jss and comment line 4.
Main or JS?
Comment line 4.
Okay, this.
So inside of this client side, I've uploaded a couple of images now, yeah?
Yes.
So we want to be sure that this guy is seeing the actual one that we are talking about now. Because if he's not seeing it, then there's a problem. Right? So let's ask, what is in this image? Question mark. He asked. Something went wrong. You have a problem now. Because let's find out what happened.
Code crash.
I'm not touching this one.
For the own context. Yes.
So let's find out what the problem is. I knew that you might run into this problem at a point. So file path is not defined at this point. Reference error, file
So
path,
you mean that image is not upload?
which but it did upload. You can find it here.
Why you can't find it? So you want to save error or something? So it is your upload is full.
Have you commented that at line 57?
Text, yes. I would text the full. Yeah, go to the text. Go to the text.
Mr. Colin, the link, the port that you are using to get the backend to connect the client and the server, this thing, is it what everybody will use?
You can use your own. Why not use my own? Just use it to work first, then you can go and experiment later. Okay, so let me try what I want to try again. But I think we've tested the most basic things. Now what you're trying to then do now is resolve errors.
So,
But let me finish explaining.
error now, but I didn't get it.
So I uploaded some images, like 2, 3 first, before I ask the question.
Oh.
So I'm thinking that it does not know the image I'm talking about. So let's try it again. Something went wrong. So I'll upload one, uploaded successfully, right? Then I'll upload another one again. So if I ask a question now, it's going to be fine, right? So I'll upload again. Let me just ask so that you know that we are.
All the code.
What is in
It's a AMP file empty.
All right, so I'm going to clear at this point. Let's follow me. Let's clear this guy at this point. Then I'll upload another image. So I believe at this point we will just have one image inside of our public folder. Let me use this one now. Now we have 2 of them now. Let's confirm. It could be 3. So you have 3 of them now. Okay. So let's just run this code. What is in the image? Describe this image. Ask. So it is working fine. Now let me clear and upload again. This should be the third one I'm uploading. Successful. Describe the image. Ask. So it's working fine. Where did we have that issue before? File path was not defined. So I think it's getting the correct file information that we are working with at every point in time. So initially, if it was not working like that, I wanted to be able to destroy every file once we upload it. Once we ask the question and we've gotten the response, we just destroy the file. But like this, I think we are good. So let me go back to explaining what you have in the client side. So
what if you ask the question differently?
you get different responses, but you're going to ask saying the same thing. Okay, like for the same image, question twice. I think you have to clear first. There will be no. You have to clear
But
first.
then there is an issue. You cannot upload the same image. It's not going
For you, let's try it. I'll upload and I have to clear first. I'm uploading another without clearing.
Now it's showing something went wrong.
I have to clear first. So the same image, eh? Open. Let me upload another one.
Another one will not go.
Let me upload the same one.
Same one will not go. I tried 3 times. But now wondering what's happening. It's not show anything. If you not select another one, it's not show. Just select the name. Success.
So there's a problem with that. Let's find out the issue is. So we have uploaded this one now, right?
I want to check it to the app. You will not see it.
Somebody should help us. So.
Nothing is blocked for you.
Anybody there? So let's upload. Clear. Upload this one. Let me do this. So it uploaded this one just now successfully, right? Let's ask the question. Who is this? Ask. So upload run. Now Gemini is running and yeah, I've gotten the response from this. Okay, we have seen the response. I cannot identify person image. I do not have access to real-time information or ability to recognize images from images. But I show you see Ronaldo and I go no. Alright, so let's clear and try to upload the same image. Let me see where we have issues. Upload same image. Upload. It did not run at all.
So that's where it's coming from.
Upload did not run at all. So it's not a backend problem. Looks like a front end thing. So let me see. So this is our upload function. Form data.
But how is it? How is
Identifying
it
that it
recognizing
is.
if it's not getting to the back?
So we are not sure that this guy is being called. But let's confirm that if it's being called or not. So let's say
Call.
so.log
Stop. Or call.
I run load. Okay, so let me see. I have a console.
So your API key is saying
Let me check my console. So it showed me no image selected when I select the same image, which means it's not seeing the image I select. Joshua. It doesn't run it. Let me select again. Clear. So that those things in my console are not running. Now this is interesting.
This is interesting.
So I ran upload. Upload successfully. I clear. No image selected. So this is the current state that is in. No image selected. I need to change the state before I can do something else. Share this guy again. So it remains at no image, though it's not running again. So it's currently null, and I'm watching this image, and the image is eventually, where do we set image? Set image. We set image to null here, and this guy does not run until the value of the image changes. So the value of the image remains the same. We need to make sure that it changes. So if it does not change, we cannot use a different picture. So it means that this thing inside of here should be some. So this place that we have here is what's making that thing happen. Uploading same image. So we need to find a better way to solve that problem. Assignment number 2. For the front end, guys.
Because I want to say, I mean, what would solve use the text problem?
Back end and front end send streams to the front end. Let your message come in streams.
That's the main
Okay,
one.
the message here
Yeah,
should come in streams.
you don't get the results.
Yeah, it should come in streams.
Exactly.
Second one is resolve.
File files.
Yeah.
But this second one is for something.
I'd love to do it now, but I think this thing is.
What did you do for Malcolm?
Wait, is it the first one?
Second one.
Then we wanted to do something again.
Like solve this.
Yeah, with. Should I stop this recording?
Okay, yeah, since it's